described in her death notice as one of the most notable, charitable, and lovable women in St. Landry Parish. What is not mentioned is that Marguerite had more than her share of heartbreaks, as she was not married, not widowed, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Miss Marguerite.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming out today. I am Margarie Sittig, but many people refer to me as the Black Widow. I'll get to that part too. I was born in 1833 and I died when I was 87 years old. I am buried here in the St. Landry Cemetery, but I don't have a tombstone that can be found. I'll start off by giving some family history first before I get into the fun stuff. I have had my very fair share or unfair share of heartbreak, but despite that, I did keep my faith as a dedicated Catholic. So my mother was Margarie Sittig and my father was Dominique Sittig. He was originally from Holland and he came here when he was 21 when he was sponsored by the Sittig family, and that's how he got his family name, and then I got mine. My father was a very educated, noble, careful, and popular man. He studied medicine whenever he was in Holland, but he decided he preferred politics. Who in their right mind would prefer politics? Now, not only that, he was a very successful businessman. He had a shipping company that handled items like cotton, tobacco, and rum from the Catawba Bayou. He stored all of these items in the Steamboat Warehouse, which I understand now is a very popular restaurant. And Sittig Street in Washington is named after my father. So enough of the family history. I will start telling you why they call me the Black Widow. When I was 18 years old, I married my first husband, Jacob Bowman from France. Unfortunately, about a year after we were married, Jacob died from yellow fever, leaving behind me and our baby girl. At first it was hard being a young mom and now a widow, but 3 years later I met another man and I married Henry Ewing from Texas. He was a prominent attorney in Galveston. About 3 or 4 months after we got married, I went to bring him lunch at work one day. And he had a client there in his office, which wasn't out of the ordinary. And the client that day was Colin LaBlue. I'll never forget his name. Colin was the uncle of a wealthy landowner who had just passed away. And whenever he died, he didn't have a will. Long story short, Colin was a very greedy man who wanted my husband to falsify the documents and give him the entire estate instead of splitting it with the remainder of the family. Of course, my husband, being the good man that he was, refused to do such a dishonest thing, and when he refused, Colin said, "If you don't do this, I'm going to kill you." I couldn't believe what he just said. I begged and I pleaded for him to just leave the office, but instead, Colin shot and killed my husband right there in front of me. I was distraught, and I couldn't believe my eyes. And then Colin had the audacity to tell me, "Don't cry, honey, you're a pretty little thing. You'll find another husband." The nerve of that man! I went straight to my parents' house to tell them what had happened, and my father gathered every able-bodied man in town to hunt him down. They chased him all the way to Calcasieu Parish, and they did find him hiding out like a coward. But unfortunately, he saw them first, and he drew his gun and started a horrible gunfight. Although he was still shot and killed, and after that, my father and 2 brothers-in-law were arrested for murder. Thankfully, after about a year of legal fighting, they were found not guilty. I swore I would never marry again. I was heartbroken. That was my second husband. What did I do? Marry again. 4 years later, I married my third husband, Leo Kahanan from Opelousas. He was a very good man. He volunteered when he could. He helped out in the community. And of course, when the Civil War outbreak came, he volunteered to fight with the Confederates. Not long after he volunteered to fight, he was killed while charging the enemy at Fort Republic. So there I was, third husband, gone again. After that, though, I meant it when I said I wasn't going to get married again. I went on to raise my 3 kids alone, and I did have a long, full life. After 3 horrible, traumatic heartbreaks, can you imagine why they call me the Black Widow?